source comes from, where our strength comes from. And it's not materialistic things or things of this world. It is Jesus Christ himself. And if he planted you, he's going to make sure he sees it through. If he planted you, that means you have a destiny. And as long as you're still breathing, you have things to accomplish. You still have the strength in you to endure what you're going through. Because one day after you get through it, you're going to make it to the other side and look back and say, wow, look what the Lord has done for me. Somebody's going to come up healthier, stronger, wiser, more successful. You're going to start coming up with the promise of God. You're going to be transformed at the end of this process. So we're investing and we're setting the foundation. And I remember, I think it was in March 3 years ago, the deals that we had lined up the first week in March, we lost the deal, we lost the contract. I think a week later, we lost another contract. A week later, I think we lost all the contracts. And I remember one day I was in my office, and I don't think anyone was there. Closed the door, but no one was there. So it's just the feeling of being overwhelmed, like you're a failure. I just left my job a couple months back, and now I have all these expenses, right? You have a dream, and now it doesn't seem like it's working out. You ever felt like that? You're hoping so much for something, and just like this, it's gone. You don't even know where your next step, how that's going to look like. And I remember I was in my office that day and I broke down, actually. I cried like a baby. Not knowing what to do. Feeling so discouraged and like I'm a failure. I started to look for jobs. I don't think anyone knows the story besides Siraj. I started looking for jobs. I was so discouraged, I just broke down. And that day, I just remember something that said, just hold on a little longer. Hold on a little longer. And now I could say 3 years later, I could look back and say, look what the Lord has done. Not knowing in that moment, I wasn't buried, I was planted. God has planted that seed. And if I didn't go through what I've been through and I had the opportunities I have now, 3 years ago, I would have shut the door on myself because I wasn't ready or mature to handle the blessing that God had for me. So I just want to encourage somebody today, if you're going through it, it's fine. But just understand who your source is and where your strength comes from. It is not materialistic things. It is God. It is Jesus. It is the King of Kings. It's the Holy Spirit. If he had taken you so far, if he brought you so far, he is good enough. He is faithful enough to see you through it. His promise for you is for you to bear fruit, to become a tree in every single season of your life. And I just want to encourage someone as you leave here, no matter what you are going through, our perception should change that it's not over. You're not buried. You're just being planted for a season. And in due time, you're going to surface up and you're coming out better than before. You're coming out stronger than before. You're coming out a little wiser than before. You're coming more successful than before. This is the promise of God for us. And this is something that we all go through. Shall I just put it back up? I believe that day in March 3 years ago, I was here. And I could have uprooted myself early. Not knowing that all of this is lined up for me. Now, I'm not saying we're the best thing, we're doing well. No, I don't know what's next for us. But what I do know, where my source comes from. I know where my strengths come from. And I would not be here if it wasn't for the mercy and the goodness and the grace of God. Because this is what keeps me. So now every time I go through something, God, what are you teaching me? What are you preparing me for? Jeremiah 29 says what? For I know the plans I have for you. plans for you to prosper. And if he is saying this, his word is true, and you have to trust him in the process. Do not give up and do not uproot yourself, because you're going to be coming out better than before. Could someone just give God some praise today? You're going to start realizing your purpose and your destiny, and the greatness inside of you is about to show. Somebody's about to have a come up. Your destiny is not only for you, it's for everyone that's connected to you. So before giving up, think twice, because it's not only about you, it's about your family, it's about your generation, it's about every single person that is aligned with your will that God has placed in your life. Somebody's faith is going to rise. Somebody's going to start smiling again, understanding that I was planted and not buried. Knowing that God has extra for me, more for me. And at every level of our life, God is providing grace, mercies every day. He's a good God and he will not fail you. If I knew then what I know now, my entire mentality would be changed. Knowing how powerful our God is. So as I'm closing up, my prayer for you is to stay encouraged in him. Put all of your hope in him. Surrender everything to God, young people. If I knew then what I know now, this has been the best decision of my life, to give up everything and serve God. I'm not a perfect person, but I am someone that wants to follow his will, because I know he wants the best. He loves us unconditionally. And young people,